This is Hello everyone. Good morning. This is Ambika from Provoke Trainings. I'm a senior faculty working with Provoke Trainings. I'll be taking in today's demo session on Snowflake and SQL. Before starting the session, would like to have the introduction of you individuals. Let me give my introduction on myself. I'm a senior data engineer. I have 4+ years of experience in data engineering. I have 8+ years of experience in IT industry and relevant same 4+ years of experience in training Python, full stack development, AWS Snowflake, data build tool, and AWS. So in these areas, I have been specialized and have been handling complex projects in my organization. I give corporate training as well. Other than this institute, I am giving training in the outside institute as well. So this is about my introduction. Can I have your introduction, Mr. Pavan Kumar Haindave? Please introduce on yourself. Can I have a brief introduction on yourself? Anyone can start. A small introduction about on yourself. Can you do that, or shall I proceed with my demo? So today we are going to have a small session about the Snowflake introduction. Why we are going to learn Snowflake? What is Snowflake and why it is so famous in the market? Let me share my screen. Snowflake is a cloud data warehouse. It is a cloud data warehouse. In this today's agenda, I'm going to cover these topics. What is Snowflake and why to use Snowflake? What are the benefits of it? Architecture overview, key features, how the data flow and the usage pattern will be in Snowflake, sample demo use case, limitations and considerations, and general queries about this session. So before giving the introduction on Snowflake, first let me tell you few things. Snowflake is a very famous cloud data warehouse. Traditionally, we were maintaining the on-premises data warehouse, where the maintenance cost and storage cost will be very high to maintain the data. To overcome that, Snowflake has come, which is a cloud data warehouse. It has got 3 different layers: cloud service layer, computation layer, and data storage layer. These are the 3 backbones of Snowflake. Why we are going for the cloud based platform? Because the client or the customer always wants the data available every time. In the on-premises, we have to shut down the system for some time and we have to reboot the server. But in the cloud, it is not like that. It will be available all the time. That is why we are going for the cloud-based data warehouse. And the most important feature of the Snowflake is pay per use. Whatever the features of the Snowflake you are going to use, for that only we are going to pay, and for that only we will be charged. These are the few important things why nowadays organization is going behind Snowflake. We will be learning in detail in the course as well as in this demo. People who can learn Snowflake. Freshers can, whomever just come out of the colleges, freshers can learn Snowflake. People who is having the break in their career, they can learn Snowflake. And whomever the professional experience, working professionals, they can also learn Snowflake. After learning Snowflake, how I will be benefited? Snowflake is the main important cloud data warehouse which is integrated with the ETL tools. Extract, transform, load. This is the ETL tool which is going to integrate Snowflake. In all of these complex projects nowadays, e-commerce projects, and many projects based on US-based organizations. They are doing this business with the ETL tool and Snowflake combination. So in this extract transform load, I'll be taking the data, extracting the data from the source, and I'll be doing the transformation, and I'll be loading the data into the Snowflake data warehouse. This is the main thing. In this ETL process, Snowflake is more involved. So I would advise whomever looking for a new trending technologies, whomever wants to learn the new upcoming trending technologies, definitely they can go with the AWS Snowflake software. By knowing this Snowflake, you will be getting offers for their Snowflake developer, ETL developer, and data engineer. These are the roles that supports the Snowflake. ETL developer, Snowflake architecture, data engineer, senior data engineer, data analyst. These are the roles which supports Snowflake. At the end of this course, you will be benefited in learning the basic SQL commands and full Snowflake architecture, how we are going to work in Snowflake. So these are the two things you will be mastering up. You will be getting the hands-on to work with the Snowflake projects. I will be giving you the mini projects so that you will get some hands-on. After finishing this course, where you are going to apply for the interview or you are looking out for a job opportunity, you are going to apply. For the fresher, definitely you can expect the salary between 4 to 5 lakhs per annum for Snowflake developer. With the intermediate experience, definitely you can expect 9 to 10 lakhs per annum. And with the higher level of experience, definitely you can expect 15 to 20 lakhs per annum. I can give you very much assurance. If you do your hard work and if you learn this course properly, definitely you will be benefited at the end of the session. And definitely you will be placed in a very good job. But you have to look out for these roles. These roles only support the Snowflake. I hope you got some basic understanding of this course. Please come with your queries if you have any. Now I'm going to start with this session. So what is Snowflake? Snowflake is a cloud-based data warehouse as a service-based. It is a data warehouse as a service. It supports AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. So it is going to support the Amazon Web Server, Azure Data Factory, Google Cloud Platform. All these three cloud integration will be supported by the Snowflake. Separation of the compute and the storage for scalability. We are going to have the compute layer and storage layer separate in the Snowflake for scalability. The compute layer is going to take care of the query analysis. Storage is going to take care of the storage of the data. The storage of data in detail we have to learn. It is very interesting concept. And this is the bottom layer of the Snowflake. The top layer is cloud service layer. The second level is compute layer. Third layer is storage layer. The compute and storage layer are independent of each other. The more number of queries I'm going to compute, the less number of storage, maybe we may need less number of storage. Sometimes we may be in a position to store more data. That time we'll be doing the less computation of the queries. And it is fully managed with automatic optimization. For example, in Snowflake UI, I'm going to open a worksheet. I'm going to use a warehouse. Suddenly, I came to know that I'm getting more queries for concurrent queries for operation, for computation. That time, Snowflake will do the auto scaling of the warehouse size. So the whole infrastructure maintenance will be taken care by Snowflake itself. Why we use Snowflake and what are the benefits of it? It is highly scalable and elastic architecture. Highly scalable means you can increase the warehouse size to support more number of queries and more number of users. And it also supports the elastic architecture. Elastic architecture means scalability. I'm going to expand my comfort zone in the Snowflake. I have to work with more number of queries, more number of users. So I should be able to resume the warehouse, suspend the warehouse for some time, and I should be able to increase the warehouse size. This comes under the topic of highly scalable and elastic architecture. It supports structured and semi-structured data. Structured data means Excel CSV file. Semi-structured data means JSON file, Parquet and Avro. This semi-structured data type will be supported by Snowflake. In the previous data warehouses, in the previous database, traditional databases won't support the semi-structured data. The Snowflake has got a beautiful concept that it supports semi-structured data. It is a pay-per-use model. Whatever the future you are going to use, you are going to pay only for that. The rest of the things, it will be ignored. But in the on-premises, even though you use that feature or not, we have to pay for the entire architecture. The storage cost and maintenance cost will be very high in the on-premises, whereas in the Snowflake, it is pay-per-use model. Concurrency handling. Multiple workflows run independently. First is in the first warehouse, I'm going to give the set of queries. In the second warehouse, I'm going to give the set of queries. So this first warehouse will take care of the queries given to them. The second warehouse will take care of the queries given to them. So this is the way how the Snowflake warehouse is going to handle the multiple workloads so that one will not disturb the other warehouse, performance of the other warehouse. No infrastructure requirement management required. You no need to maintain anything. You just open the, create a Snowflake free session, take a 30 days trial package. In that, you please practice whatever the queries you want. You are not going to maintain any infrastructure. The Snowflake itself is going to take care of the infrastructure. You have to understand only how the Snowflake is working and what are the important features and concepts of the Snowflake. Snowflake architecture overview. We have three main layers in Snowflake: storage layer, compute layer, and cloud service layer. So the cloud service layer, it manages the metadata, security, and optimization. What is metadata? For example, from AWS S3 bucket, I'm going to get some files. So the file will be having the file name and what last date when the file got uploaded in the S3 bucket. Those are the metadata details of the file. That one I'll be storing. Those details, I cannot create a column in the Snowflake and I cannot store that. So this one I have to maintain as a metadata and I can insert this as a column in the Snowflake table. Security, authorized user. Whomever authorized to enter the Snowflake, they can only take the access of the Snowflake and they can access the objects inside the Snowflake. There are different roles: security, sysadmin, account admin. So we have different roles in that. Using these roles, we will be maintaining the who are the authenticated users can enter the Snowflake. So you are going to do the security check at the enter on the login stage itself. And optimization, query optimization. For example, in my organization, they have given a very big query. They are asking me to optimize it. To optimize the query means I have to reduce the performance timing of the query. For example, the query is running in 40 seconds, but they are asking me to make that query run in 5 seconds. For that, what are the steps I have to take in the Snowflake? I have to create a table with the clustering key. The clustering key is going to help me to do this optimization. I have to use the join in my queries. I have to use the filtering in my queries. So these are the things we have to include in the queries to do the further optimization. This is about the Snowflake architecture. Now, key features of Snowflake. It supports for structured and semi-structured data. As I already told you in the previous slide, structured data is Excel, CSV file. Semi-structured data is JSON, Avro, and Parquet. So in the semi-structured data, JSON, the data will be stored in the format of Python dictionary. If you people are aware of the Python dictionary concept, it is key colon value. That is the format the JSON file will be storing the data. But to load the data, JSON data into the Snowflake table, first I have to parse this file, then only I have to load the data into the Snowflake table. Next is time travel, accessing the historical data. For example, I am one of my developer. In my team, another developer by mistake, unintentionally updated the data or deleted the data which is required for my unit testing. Now I need the data for the unit testing, but I don't have. So using this time travel concept of the Snowflake, which helps me to access the historical data. There are three type editions in Snowflake: Standard Edition, Enterprise Edition, Business Critical Edition. So in this, the Standard Edition will support me the time travel for 1 day. The Enterprise Edition is going to give me the support of 7 days to 90 days. So in these days, I have to go and check in which day I have the original data. For example, I may get this data in 7 days, or I may get this data in 1 or 2 days, but I have to query the data to get the data from that particular date. For that, time travel is the concept of Snowflake, which is going to help me to retrieve the old data. For that, we have a Snowflake query, which uses at and before timestamp to get that data. So when you are going to take that course, you will use that query to see how the time travel is working. Next is zero copy cloning for instant environmental duplication. For example, you are working on a very critical project. So you feel like sometimes I should not be able to lose the table data, which is important for my analysis. For that, I will be creating the cloning of the table, or the cloning can be done for database, schema as well as table. So when I'm going to clone the table, I'll be having the backup of the table or a schema or database, so that whenever I'm doing some mistake, updation or deletion I'm doing in the original table, I'll be having the backup table to refer my old data. So this also helps for kind of accessing the historical data. Next is secure data sharing across the accounts. That is called a churn analysis. For example, new people has joined the organization, they don't have the Snowflake account. So they want some Snowflake data of my database, so that they have to do some analysis. That time what I have to do? Have to create the reader account and have to create another consumer account. In this reader account, I'll be creating a share. In this share, I'll be providing which database they can access. I'll be creating an admin role to provide this access. So the consumer account will be able to access this reader account using the proper Snowflake URL, and they will be able to read the data. They cannot export the data, they cannot modify the data. They can just read the data and they can do the analysis. After their job is done, their roles will be revoked back, so that they will not be in a position to access the data again. That is called secure data sharing. Automatic scaling and optimization. Just now in the previous slide we discussed, whenever there are more number of queries, I have to increase the warehouse size. That will be done manually or auto scaling by the Snowflake. And optimization is query optimization. Whenever the query is large, it is taking more time to generate the result. To reduce the performance timing of the query, I have to go for the clustering concept and micro partitioning concept of the Snowflake that helps in query optimization. These are the key features of the Snowflake. Data flow in Snowflake. How I'm going to do the data flow? Data flow means what? From the source to the Snowflake data warehouse, how the data is coming. First, I have to ingest the data either in the batch or stream. There are two types of loading of data in Snowflake: batch loading and continuous loading. In the batch, you will be loading bulk data at a time. In the continuous loading, you will be inserting small amount of data continuously every 1 minute or every 2 minutes. And in the streaming, you will be doing the loading of data incrementally. For today, what are the data I have to load? These are the ways we are going to ingest the data into the Snowflake. I'll be having the different sources of the Snowflake. For example, the client may give me the source using the CSV file, Excel file, JSON file, Avro, Parquet file. But these files, I have to take from the S3 bucket and I can store in the Snowflake as a raw data, or after doing the transformation, I can store it as a transformed data which is required for the analysis. So the second step is, first I'm going to ingest the data either by batch or continuous loading or streaming. Next, I'm going to store the raw data and process data. I'll be storing the raw data in the Snowflake, whichever coming from the CSV file. Directly, we cannot store it as a CSV file. So what we have to do? We have to create the stages in the Snowflake so that this CSV file will be loaded into the stage. From there, it will be copied into the Snowflake table. So that can be the direct data which is coming from the source file. Process data means I want to do some transformation in the data which I got from the source file. So I'll be doing the transformation and then after I'll be loading the data into the Snowflake data warehouse. Transform and query using the SQL. So how I can do the transformation? Generally, the ETL tool takes care of the transformation, that is DBT, data build tool, which takes care of the transformation of the data. But here, I can check the transformation and the query using the SQL statements in the Snowflake. Next is, after your data is transformed, it is stored in the Snowflake data warehouse. Now, you are going to visualize the data using the BI tools like Power BI and Tableau. Means these are the reporting tools. So for these reporting tools, we need the analyzed data, transformed data, so that the client can view the data according to check whether it is up to their expectation. That is called reporting. So these are the steps how the data is going to flow. First, ingest the data into the Snowflake, store it as a raw or processed data, do some transformation. After the transformation, export the table to the reporting layer and share the share the data set for client satisfaction. These are the steps we are going to follow in the data flow. Sample demo. In this, I am going to ingest and query the weather data from an API. I told some of the sources of the data, right? That is CSV, Excel, JSON, Avro, and Parquet. Similarly, we have a ingest and query data from API also. The API is going to store the data in the JSON format, which is the Python dictionary, key:value. For this, what are the steps I have to do? Load the API data into Snowflake via Python connector or ETL tool. Whatever the data I have in my API, I have to load this into the Snowflake data warehouse using the Python code or ETL tool, that is DBT. Or Colis. We have two different types of the ETL tool. Colis transformation, that is Colis tool as well as the DBT. Transform and clean the data. Once the data is loaded into the Snowflake, so we will be doing the transformation. What are the transformations? For example, customer wants, I have in the source table some column names, but the customer wants those columns name in a professional way. So what they will do the column naming definition, convention they will do, column convention. That is called naming convention. They will change the column names. They will do some small aggregations. They will do some large aggregations. Aggregation means what? You are going to do some calculation on your sales data of your customer. How to do the average of the sales data. How to calculate the sum of the sales data. So how these are the aggregations will be done during the transformation, and if any duplication of data is there, we have to clean the data and see to that the data is not having any null values and duplication values. That is called cleaning of the data. After that, you query and expose the results to CSV or dashboard for the reporting. This demonstrates the ease of the integration and scalability of the data. This is going to demonstrate ease of the integration and scalability. You are going to integrate API data into the Snowflake. You are going to do some transformation, and finally you are going to push the data for the reporting. These are the steps we have to follow for a proper Snowflake operation. Limitations and considerations. Compute and storage cost can grow with the heavy workloads. So you have a compute layer and you have a storage layer in the Snowflake. This compute layer will be having, which does the query analysis. If there are more number of queries, you have to do more computation. That time computational cost will go high. If there are billions of data to be stored, then the Snowflake has to expand. The storage will be more, so it costs more. So only in case of more number of workloads for computation and more number of data for storage, that time the cost will grow with the heavy workloads. Cold start time for suspended values. For example, I am going to execute some query. The warehouse is not showing the result immediately because there is a feature in Snowflake called auto suspend and auto resume. So the warehouse will automatically suspend for some time. So now you are trying to execute the query. So it has to resume the service. So it will take some boot up time, 2 to 3 seconds, sometimes 1 minute to execute that query. That is called cold start time for suspended warehouse. So whenever for in the entire night you are not using the Snowflake data warehouse. So the warehouse will be suspended for long hours. So when you are trying to execute the query by morning 9 o'clock, it will take some time to execute the query. So the time it is going to start executing that gap is called cold start time. It takes some time to resume the warehouse service. It is not ideal for real-time transactional processing. Snowflake, it is going to store the raw data or the processed data in the data warehouse. But from there, you will be exporting the data for the real-time transaction processing. For that, you should have the reporting layer. In the Snowflake, directly you cannot check whether new data are coming, whether it is getting updated. That one you cannot monitor. So using the dbt ETL tool, by running some jobs, you can see that the data is getting updated in the table. Using the reporting layer, you will understand that data is getting updated in the table. The Snowflake streams or incremental loads is going to update every day's data into the Snowflake data warehouse. That will be monitored by the ETL tool or reporting layer. So data egress charges may apply. So whatever the for processing, for computational thing, whatever the extra charges for the data that will be applied when you are going to handle more number of data. Comparison with other data warehouse. For example, Redshift, BigQuery. These are the other data warehouse, Amazon Redshift, BigQuery. When compared to the Snowflake, Redshift is tightly coupled to compute storage, less flexible scaling. So whenever the more number of data is coming, it is tightly coupled. So tightly coupled means like it may not be in a position to upscale the warehouse so that it supports more number of query for processing and more number of users. Similarly, BigQuery, serverless but less control over the compute sizing. It is serverless like a Snowpipe serverless operation, but it has got a less control over the compute sizing. Whenever there are more number of queries, it won't auto scale the warehouse size. But Snowflake does the balance between the flexibility, performance, and the ease of use. Whenever there are more number of queries and more number of users, this flexibility performance will be supported by the Snowflake because the entire infrastructure is taken care by Snowflake itself. So getting started with the Snowflake, how can I work with the Snowflake account? Sign up for a free trial at snowflake.com. Load the sample data or your own data set. First, you have to sign up for a free Snowflake trial account, activate that account, log in into the account, load some sample data on your data set, and use Snowflake Web UI or Snowflake SQL CLI. Snow SQL. There are two ways how you can work in the Snowflake. One is through Web UI, that is worksheet, Snow site worksheet. Another one is Snow SQL, that is command line mode. you have to download the SnowSQL in your system, and using the command line, you can work in the SnowSQL. These are the two ways how you can load the data into the Snowflake data warehouse and you can start querying the data. Connect BI tools or Python connector for analysis. So using this Power reporting tool or Python connector, you can do more analysis of the data. So these are the steps how to get started with the Snowflake. Finally, Snowflake simplifies data warehousing in the cloud. It enables fast, scalable, and analytics without infrastructure overhead. Infrastructure overhead means the overall maintenance of the Snowflake will be taken care by Snowflake. It is very fast, scalable analytics. Scalable analytics means whenever you are doing some computational computations, the warehouse size will be increased. Whenever there is no query for computation, the warehouse size will be decreased. This is called scalable analytics. Ideal for data engineering, analytics, and sharing workloads. So for these roles and these fields, Snowflake will be widely applied. Please let me know if you have any queries in this session. So basically, whomever learning Snowflake, they can be fresher, whomever having the break in their career, or whomever the working professional, housewife, anyone can learn, whomever want to upgrade their skills with the Snowflake data warehouse. The main roles of the Snowflake data warehouse are Snowflake developer, data engineer, senior data engineer, data scientist, ETL developer. These are the roles which support the Snowflake. As a fresher, definitely you can learn 4 to 5 lakhs per annum. With the intermediate experience, 9 to 10 lakhs. And with a great high level of experience, definitely 15 to 20 lakhs per annum, you can expect the salary. And this is completely worthy in learning the AWS Snowflake. And once you are done with your course, if you are ready to go for the certification of SnowPro core certification, for that one also I can guide you because I have completed my SnowPro core certification. I am a certified Snowflake developer. So please let me know if you have any queries. Now I will be going for the first chapter of this course, which is SQL, the first chapter of the SQL.
What is the meaning about data migration?
Data migration means, for example, for my client is giving some data in the form of CSV file, or it is in MS SQL server, or it is in Oracle data. It is Oracle data what the client is giving to me. I have to do this data migration into the Snowflake data warehouse. For that, what I have to do, the Oracle data, whatever the client is going to give me, I have to store this data as a raw data in the Snowflake data warehouse using the ETL tool, or you can either directly store the raw data into the Snowflake data warehouse from the AWS S3, or using the Matillion tool. And Matillion tool is the basic tool which ingests the data into the Snowflake data warehouse. And Phytron. Using this tool, you can load the data into the Snowflake data warehouse as a raw data. And using the ETL tool like dbt and Colis transformation, you can do the transformation of the data. Please, you have to build the dbt models which does the transformation. And finally, the transformed data will be stored into the Snowflake data warehouse. This is the way the Oracle data is getting migrated into the Snowflake data warehouse. This is called data migration. Finally, from the Snowflake data warehouse, whichever the data they need for the reporting layer, those tables will be exported for the reporting layer. Clear?
One more question, madam.
Yes.
Madam, which nowadays we are using Snowflake projects.
Yeah.
Which methodology we are using, like that DevOps or Agile method, or like that reiteration method? Which method we are using like that nowadays in Snowflake projects, madam?
In Snowflake project, mainly they are, say, DevOps they will use. That is not for that one. The DevOps never helps for the migration purpose. It won't do any transformation. DevOps is like once the data is ready after the transformation, you are going to see the testing of the data using the Jenkins. But ETL tool is the main thing which supports this migration process. ETL does the migration. For that, you will be ingesting the data using the Phytron or Matillion. And finally, using this dbt cloud, ETL cloud jobs, you can create a set of jobs which will see the data whenever it is getting loaded, when it is getting transformed, and when it is coming to the Snowflake data warehouse as a transformed data, that one will be taken care by the ETL jobs. So main application of Snowflake is for data migration, storing the large amount of the data, and for doing the more computational queries, more analysis you want to do on the query. That is supported by the Snowflake computation layer. DevOps, once the data is done, the migration is done, once the transformation is done, using the Jenkins layer, you are going to test the data. That is a single unit testing done for the model.
Not using, so we will not using Agile methodology, madam.
Which methodology?
Agile method. I'm asking about Agile methodology will be used or not in Snowflake projects.
See, Agile methodology, we have not much used in our projects. It might be useful. I'll explore more into that and I'll update you on that.
And what about domain knowledge about in Snowflake, madam?
Domain knowledge. See, for the prerequisites of learning the Snowflake, first you should be good with the SQL commands. How to create a table, how to update the table, how to do the CRUD operation, create, retrieve, update and delete. These are the operations you should be good in SQL. The SQL basic commands you should be strong before getting into the Snowflake. How to use the join queries. How to use the ranking and dense ranking operation. How to use the row number queries. So these are the basic queries. You should be good in SQL. You should understand the RDBMS concept, relational database management concept. How we are going to store the table record. It is in the rows and columns format, that is table format. So this way only we are going to implement in the Snowflake also. So what is the difference between RDBMS and DBMS? What are the limitations of the DBMS? RDBMS has overcome. And how this RDBMS concept is related to the Snowflake. What are the topologies we are going to apply? What are the SQL commands? Prerequisites are important. We should be good with the SQL and advanced SQL query commands before getting into learning the Snowflake. Directly learning the Snowflake SQL commands, it is okay, you can manage, but still basics of SQL we should be good so that it will be, your fingers will be fast enough to handle the Snowflake queries. What is joining? What is the Cartesian joining and what is the natural join? You are going to join 2 to 3 tables without any condition. That is called Cartesian joining. It is going to increase the number of rows. But when you are going to use the join in your table, it is going to check for the condition. For these matching IDs only, it is going to retrieve the records. What is normalization and what is denormalization in database? How to avoid the data redundancy and data inconsistency in the database. These are the prerequisites you should understand. After that, you can start learning the Snowflake. When you go deep into the Snowflake, you will learn what is Snowflake, how to create a worksheet, how to create a Snowflake account, how to create tables, how to do insert a record into the table, how to create a stream and task in table, how to use Snowpipe for continuous loading, and how it is getting integrated with the ETL tool. All these things you will be learning in the Snowflake concepts. These are the prerequisites and domain knowledge required.
And next, what about the cloud technology in this project, and Snowflake?
Snowflake data warehouse is it itself is a cloud technology, right? You are going to work in a cloud only. That is not you are not going to install anything in your system. You are going to create your Snowflake cloud account.
But what, madam? This is AWS or Azure or GCP? Which one is we are using?
AWS Snowflake. This is AWS Snowflake, and you are going to work in the Snowflake cloud account only. Nowhere you will be installing anything in your system and downloading in your system.
Programming language we are using, madam.
Programming language is SQL. That's what I said. Prerequisite is SQL is mandatory. First, you should be able to understand the SQL commands, so that after learning this only, it will be easy for you to handle the Snowflake commands.
And next Python, madam. What about Python?
Python, see, for learning Snowflake, SQL is first preference, first prerequisite is, if you want to test the Snowflake connection using the ETL tool or Python, that time you must be in a position to learn Python. But if you're opting for learning Python, that is also possible. I can teach Python. But for Snowflake, SQL is the first prerequisite.
Tools, madam. What about the tools in Snowflake projects? Which tools are you using like that Snowflake projects? And
In the
any update tools are there or not?
See, Snowflake ETL is the tool which integrates Snowflake. How to do this integration with the ETL tool? Definitely, I will be covering that session in this course. But coming to the tool discussed as a Snowflake, it is Snowflake. It is not a tool. It is a cloud data warehouse. That is you are going to learn how to handle a data warehouse based on the cloud. That is the main thing you are going to learn. And how to integrate this tool, Snowflake, with the ETL tool, that one also you'll be learning in this course. In Snowflake data warehouse only, you have lots of concepts to cover. It is not only the creating the table, updating the table, deleting the table, no. How to use time travel concept in Snowflake. How to create a cloning of the table and database. These are the operations you are going to learn. How to create a column level security, row level security. You want some user to not to see your rows and columns in your data. How to hide that? I don't want these columns to be displayed for other users. I don't want some rows to be displayed to the other users. How to create that column level security, row level security. How to create the secure views, materialized views. How to create the external table, external stages, internal stages. These are the things you are going to learn in this course. As a Snowflake, it is not a tool. It is a cloud data warehouse. You are going to integrate Snowflake with the ETL tool. That is what you are going to learn.
The next operating system, which Windows are using like that
Windows,
8 or 9?
yeah, Windows or Macintosh, Mac, and Windows, anything you can use for this. So because you are going to use a cloud account, so it is not no need to bother about the operating system. You are going to work in a cloud. Any other queries?
Thank you, madam. My side is complete. My doubts are every doubts are clarification were given.
Sure. Don't. I can give you the good assurance that at the end of this course, you'll be very good with the handling the SQL queries, advanced SQL queries, and complete Snowflake data warehouse. You'll become expert in that. You don't need to worry about that. And I will guide you with the interview questions for Snowflake as well. I'm a working professional. I know how the interview questions will be there in the Snowflake outside market, so I can guide you with the interview questions also.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello. Yes.
This is Harish.
Yes, sir.
Previous, I don't know idea for IT sector.
Okay.
Now I'm learning this course. Is it
So
okay for me for this course?
definitely, yeah, yeah. Perfect, no
I
problem.
know for SQL, basic SQL and advanced SQL. That's why I'm learning this course.
Okay. So you'll be learning with the SQL, advanced SQL and Snowflake. Even if you're not belongs to the IT sector, that is absolutely fine. With my guidance, definitely you will do definitely you can do very well. I'll give you the complete guidance, like from the scratch, how to work on it. So you'll be learning from the scratch, so you don't need to worry about that. Any other queries?
Yesterday, Komi shared the YouTube link only. I'm seeing that all videos for your previous videos.
Okay.
That overall on PPT only, PPT slides only will be there. No any practically
No.
practically.
Yes. Practical, you will be learning in the course only, right? You can practical creating a Snowflake account, how to work on that. That will be you will be learning in the course. That's a short session video I'm posting. So in that I'll be covering the concepts. I won't. See, if you want, I will definitely provide the upgraded content like working in the Snowflake worksheet itself. That is not an issue. But in the short minute video, I'll be giving the theoretical part of the Snowflake. In the course, right from the first day, you'll be first 1 week, you will be getting some theoretical understanding of the SQL. After that, you will straight away working practically with the queries in the Windows. So that is, you will be learning everything in the course. If you upgrade for the upgraded content, I will definitely provide the Snowflake window. In the worksheet only, I will write some queries and I can share the video. That is not the issue.
Okay.
And one more thing, in this, after completing this training, like to basically whomever having the break in their careers, they want to show that they have done some projects in the Snowflake for the interview. Whatever the mini projects I'm going to give you, that one you can definitely, you will get a good knowledge because the work what I'm going to give you will be like in the industry, how they will expect in the Snowflake coding, like that only the work I'll be giving you, so that you can go for the internship certificate from the respective institute, from this institute for showing your experience. But please, I don't advise to go for taking any fake experience certificates. That will not help you, and that is not the good legal way to go for a job, because if you are putting 2 to 3 years of experience or showing in the interview, and when they are asking you to write the query, definitely you will struggle. Rather, you work on the small projects, explore more, spend more time with the Snowflake, do more Google analysis, and do work on more sample projects, and project that one in the resume, and take the internship certificate from the organization. That will be the best practice to crack the interview and go for the interview. That is an ideal suggestion and advice from my side. Any other queries? So today I'm done with this Snowflake demo, and tomorrow we'll be starting with the SQL chapter 1 from the scratch. First few days, 4 to 5 days, I'll give you the theoretical concept of SQL, how it works. And from the next, after 4 to 5 days, the DB browser, SQLite browser has to be installed in your system. In that, we'll be practically showing all the queries, how the SQL queries will work, and advanced SQL queries as well. And after that, I'll be going to the Snowflake concepts. Hope today's session was interesting. If you have any queries, please share me your queries now. Please let me know if you have any other queries.
Can you share that theoretical video also? Or practical video?
Yeah, I'll share you, definitely. I'll share the video. That will be uploaded in the YouTube. Like you can contact the organization, this institute admin, to take further links for that. Any other queries? I hope today's session was interesting. Thank you all for this demo session. Thank you all. Tomorrow, let us meet with the session 1, which will be starting with the SQL.